it's very difficult to stay calm and not to have, to get in tears watching the movie. Before asking some questions, and then we'll open it also to the audience. What do you want to tell us?
It's interesting because every time I watch the film, I see another side of my grief. For example, now I felt for the first time when I see it, anger. And I tell myself, it's interesting for me if it's inside his film or it's only me seeing him inside the film. But I can tell you that the film, for me, as knowing Yahav as a creator, not only his wife, I know that one of the things he wanted to talk about is compassion and ahava lelo tnai. What do you say? Ahava lelo tnai.
Love without condition.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
And it's what you see is film, you can feel it inside relationship from a father to a son, or from lovers, or a friendship, or a father to a daughter. And like in the way Yahav sacrificed his life against the terrorists, saving me with unconditional love, I can see it inside this film. I knew it before. I didn't know it will be that realistic, but I see him inside the relationship we tried to present in this film. Yeah.
And does it, how do you frame the film, prior to October 7 and afterwards?
What is frame the film?
איך את מתייחסת אליו, או איך את מפרשת אותו?
I see it
because it has some kind of I wouldn't say a prophetic aspect into it, but also the film deals with the conflict, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and the ways in which it's being played in the Gaza envelope and in the kibbutzim in the Gaza envelope. And this is something that I assume it was, or as you can see, it was important to Yahav to deal with, not only in this project but also in his future project that you never completed. And I hope that one day you'll complete, or someone will complete this other feature film that he was working on. So what actually did you want to say about living over there and the conflict?
So I think only now, because it was such a massacre, that you cannot put it under the carpet, So I think only now people around the world understand what people like Yahav grew up with there for years. Yahav in 2008, this is what the film is about, actually. You see, he dedicated to Jim Kedoshim in the end. Yahav saw his best friend neighbor, his neighbor, who is his best friend father, Jimmy Kedoshim, and our family friend, killed in front of his eyes from a rocket. And people say Yahav was the first one who saw him. He just stand there and saw his body. And this was in 2008. This is something people grew up there for years. Now the amount of stories is you cannot put it aside. But for the person I loved, that I shared these stories with me, it's the story of growing up near the fence. And it's weird because you grow up and you hear about the other side too, and there are people like you on the other side, but your body is full of fear because you grew up near the rockets. And this is something that he tried to represent in Barak character, the conflict of growing up as a person who was deeply traumatized by death and living near the fence, although the beautiful area and although the community, the amazing community we have there. The most sad, it's not the most, but Yahav died, but also a dream died with him. He was a dreamer, but we lived there because we were both dreamers, living like in the past in a small community, where money doesn't count, and you don't care. Nobody has cars, like fancy cars, and nobody will buy a pool because you don't want to take your neighbor's eyes out. So there was a sense of humanity over there that it's inside all of his films, but I'm sad that only now in the 7th of October people will know about it. It's too late. You know, people, if you go to Chosen, it's a psychological center in Sderot. If you know how many kids for years are traumatized, it's and now people understand that Hamas is I don't tell people, but understand it's a terror organization. But I think Yahav really wrote this film because his first bicycle were bought from Gaza, and his father worked for years with Gaza workers together. So this conflict was inside his soul, but also inside this film.
Any question you can ask someone? I think there's many film scholars here. The end scene is kind of going back to normal. All these traumatic events day by day, all these sirens that you have to hide to go to shelter and all that. But then in the end, you go on with your daily routine. So this is what you wanted to say. I mean, you edited the film, so you're part of it. So that's what you want to say, that, even given all this, given this horrible, horrific condition, but we go on with our daily life. That's what we have to stick to, or?
I think as an editor, it was important to me and Yahav to always keep the last straw of the scene a bit more, like coming back to reality. Like there was just a bombing and a rocket, and then you go and continue eating. And you can finish the scene before, like it was a big drama, but it's not over there. We just lived with this for years. We are evacuated, and then we come back after a small, a little war, and then we continue eating, and then you continue to watch Ninja, because people cannot grasp this situation unless he normalizes it inside his head. I think the reality is more like the flash of the water that was in the start of the film. This image that you were numbed for. If you numb that problem for so long, it will sometime explode like this. None of us thought it would be like that. None of us, our families, none of our friends, never. We felt our sentence is 95% heaven, 5% hell. And because of the heaven, we accepted the 5% hell, but we never imagined it will be 1%, like 100% hell. No, none of us.
Do you want to say something about this 5%?
5%? Yeah, I want, because I'm in the anger stage, as I said. Yeah, it's like I cry a lot at night, but I feel like only now, after a month and a week and a half, I only understand how much anger I have, and not only sorrow. People that come inside your window bedroom are not people you can do peace with. They gave them orders to do such thing to babies and to take a baby from a mother's tummy. You cannot put it aside. I have friends. My best friend is a widow also, and our neighbor is also a widow. And Ofer's Yahav's father, niece, was murdered with her husband, and now their two little twins, 10 months old, are alone in the world. You cannot take those situations and normalize it at all, not anymore. And I wish, our humanitarian effort will be noticeable more in the world. Because of this, I think it's important that it's like an international evening today. But because there are efforts to be humanitarian, and I know that people don't know it good enough. I know it because I was there. I know there were trucks that were stopped by Hamas when they want to give them to work away. And I really want this. I wish, as I think like a mother now, I know like as a mother, those people who came from my window, I know if that was my son, I would not want him to be such a person. I know there are probably good mothers over there and really good people over there that were probably understanding more than I think. So I think what we're having now, it's necessary. I wish as less people would lose their life, because it's so heartbreaking to lose someone you love. And we had a big love. He was my partner to creation. He was my partner to love, and he was my best friend. And it was a father only for 1 month, and it was the best father I think a 1 month father could be. Yeah.
And now is Shaya?
She's good. She's with her auntie Yav's sister. She's growing up with wolves, you know. She's going from hand to hand. He wanted it to be before, like after a week after she was born, she was already in all of the family's hand, even in, 1 month old Talma, and no, 6 years old niece. And she's a strong child. I always know, and I knew we will survive. When I ran from terrorists and they were shooting at me and a baby, and I remember telling myself they're shooting at a woman like on me and a baby. But I could not adjust it. I remember that thing, the only thoughts I had in my head are director thoughts or something. Like I told myself I cannot direct this genre, or this is too much of a film, of a Holocaust film for me. What will a Holocaust character would do? I didn't know how to grasp it at all. I could not understand what I need to act. So I thought about like a film, because this is the only action I have in my own life and the stress that I know. So it helped me to be a director for something to be in control with on this situation, because where you're shooting at you, it's not normal. You cannot understand from your mind, regular mind, how to handle it. But I know that Shaya, even those moments, I knew that she will survive. Even if I didn't know if I will survive, I knew she will. Through all of her pregnancy, I always knew it. I was not stressful at any check. Yav's mother was Michal, but I didn't. I knew she's a strong child and she will survive, and that kept me alive too, I think.
So cinema saved you.
Yeah.
Just having to visualize what's going to happen, and as if you're in a movie or something.
Yeah. Even in the end, we started editing we wrote a feature together, a long film, and we finished shooting it in July, start of July. And we just started editing it. I'm his editor, and we were sitting and we started, and he said, finally we're editing. And then it happened. But it's weird, I know it's weird. But when I was in the safe room, and I felt he's like going out of the world. Afterwards, there were rumors that they didn't find a body, and I checked for him everywhere I could, where he was, but it was rumors. But in the start, I felt he's dead. I felt I inside me there was like, no, mommy, don't go. And from what you saw from the outside, if there was a camera, you could see, hey to Shaya. And in that specific moment that I felt horror inside me, I imagined the card in the end, what I will write on his film. How will I describe in a card in the end of the film what happened to him? So cinema it's a weird thing to think in that moment, I know, but I had to find something normal inside my head, something I knew.
So the plans for the future is to finish the film, and what's next?
To make a documentary about him, and about like a diary to show him how Shaya grows up. Like my Yahav, like a diary to him. And I think it's not what happened in that day in my situation. איך אומרים שזורים זה בזה?
Intertwined.
Yeah.
Intertwined.
Okay.
Intertwined.
The stories of me and my friends and my family and my neighbors are almost intertwined in my experience. The family that saved me is the family that the mother lost her sister and her husband, and her 3 years old daughter Avigail is kidnapped to Gaza. She's kidnapped to Gaza with the family she ran to. Why? Because Avichai Brodatz went to fight, and his Avichai wife Hagar, with 3 of her children, and Avigail is kidnapped to Gaza, 3 little children. And on the other side, there was twins, and my neighbor that lost her husband while trying to fight with Avichai. And all the stories are like intertwined. So I feel for the first time I can't think a film, even a long film can combine it, and then I tell myself maybe I will learn how to write a series because you finish film school and you don't know it yet, so I need to learn how to do it, and maybe I will try that in the future. But now I only grieve, and I'm only with Shaya. And this one makes me feel good. For now, no. He asked me if I can come back there. So I said no now, but I never know what will happen. Because Yav, for example, he was so traumatized, he wrote films about it and he saw his neighbor in front of his eyes dies. But he came back to the same place where his heart was never the same. But he came back there and he died on the same land. So maybe I will come back. I hope I won't die on that. But I don't know, because even him, the person that I knew, he said, I will never come back there. I will never go through this reality again. But he did. So for now, I say no, because I need to save my child and me and my family and myself and my mental health. But I don't know what will happen. Maybe I will feel him in that land. I don't know.
I think I'll just translate briefly. Adi was telling Shaylee that she's really inspiring, you know, in the ways in which she's dealing with all this, with the event and this atrocity and what she projects as a strong person. So I think it's a good moment to conclude. And I also join what Adi, I'm sure Yaron and everybody here in the School of Film and Television, the faculty as a whole, you're our alumna. But beyond that, I mean, you're part of us and you're welcome here anytime.
Thank you for honoring him. Thank you.